2, 1.
I love it. So with that being said, let me clear my throat. You know how we usually start the show, so there's nothing new going on here. This is the second installment of the Wordplay Cafe here at Tbones Hot Spot in Sarasota. I want to thank T-Bone for giving us the opportunity again to come on and do our thing, express ourselves. The Wordplay Cafe is most definitely spoken word and life at its most expressive, word by word. That being said, the last word I heard was that this was a place for spoken word. A verbal visual gallery of lyrical works, each line designed to make your brains twerk. All said, some of them written, all spitting into a mic check, 1, 2, shifting your points of perspective and adapting to your points of view. But as for me, I'm here to see that the job gets done. There's no fantasies and yellow brick roads and no time for forest to run, because in my mind, each line should beat like a drum line from your heart to your mind, motivating your mouth to get shout-outs and rewinds, and at the very least, each piece should brush stroke the canvas, leaving you high as a kite as if your hookah was laced with cannabis, transforming this place into a space where lovers of this art can demand this, and anything less than blessed that might touch the mic just might leave the crowds pissed. Those are my last words. Thank y'all for joining us this evening. And welcome to another night here at the Wordplay Cafe. I am Device One, Michael Paragon, on the mic. Device One. Usually I'm joined with my beautiful co-host, Desiree. Our work schedules do what work schedules do, and usually that's interrupt what we like to do. But hey, until the masters say we can get out the plantation and stay off the plantation, we call ourselves part-time slaves. She gotta make her paper, so she's doing her thing.
We'll take that paper.
We are joined this evening by a couple of poets who it definitely moves me to have them in the house. We're going to be sharing the mic. Needless to say, the Wordplay Cafe is always open mic. And we encourage any and all levels of poets and spoken word lovers to come on up and share with us. So, here we go. Let's see. Why don't we not necessarily go round robin, but I've opened it with one. That's my usual show opening. So let's bring out another one, and then we can leave money to catch a poet by the toe. See which one y'all gonna go. There we go.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get this. Yeah, it's a little thing I did.
Get down like that. I don't know what it is.
I don't know how to get out of it.
Hey.
Okay, here we go. I got the link. I'm posting it now.
We'll just roll with it. But may I have your attention, please? This is a maiden voyage, and unlike the Titanic, isn't guaranteed to return from rough seas. And as rough seas tend to rise and fall, we pour to summer by the siren's call with those who were there to part their lips. With those who came to share their gifts. With those of you who have managed to press your way through, and now you are made a witness. Both the message and the messenger, filled with the new deliverance, externally the same, is slightly changed within your inner self. Your newfound wealth is best measured by your knowledge of your newfound self. But in these words, we found power and peace, and memories of love that will never cease, and visions of freedom from pain and oppression that will forever remain within our brain's internal impression. So how can we possibly keep this on the inside, huh? And the very gift of spoken word is so very alive, huh? And all I can ask is that you all ask yourselves the same. Now, will you leave here tonight psychologically the same way that you came, or will you allow these words to connect inside? Protecting from the icebergs that would separate and divide, and rejecting the madness that your so-called friends supply. Because as we are all vessels on the sea of spoken word, they say all ships in the same waters are lifted by the same rising tides. Thank you. Catch a poet by the toe. Which one of y'all ready to flow?
Oh.
Sure.
All right.
Mo, aka Dr. Lynch.
So everything is, the link is on everything T-Bone. So if you go in the Tbones Hot Spot group, the page, my personal, the link is there.
Okay. So the official link is
up. You want me to read? You want me to read it to you?
Yeah. Let me give a quick shout out so people know where to go to join us.
You go to Tbones Hot Spot on Facebook.
Tbones Hot Spot on Facebook.
And there is a link there that says the Wordplay Cafe.
And you'll find a link.
And you just hit that link and you find yourself right there.
Click it and you are live with us.
Mm-hmm. So, but if you can't find it that way, you find yourself on YouTube. Just search for Tbones Hot Spot.
Do a search on YouTube for Tbones Hot Spot.
And then go to it and click on the live feed and yeah.
And you can't miss.
We got more than way in. Daddy says a poor rat only got one hole.
Wow, I can't say that. Guys, help me welcome up to the stage here my good friend and poet, Dr. Mark Lynch.
Thank you. I have come. Let me see if I can adjust this. Right, that's good. Yeah.
Oh, get my shiny hair.
Okay. How'd everybody tonight?
All right.
Good. Well, I've come with a few words to share with you. The speech that I'm doing, I just wrote it, and it is in honor of Tbones and his partner in rhyme, giving honor to them this evening. And sometimes, when we go, something that we really don't do, we don't often go into a place and christen the place, truly anointed. See, I'm an old soul, so this is the way that I roll. So I think that this is fitting and it should do what it's going to do. It's called This Thing We Do. This thing we do, pen to paper, it comes with a price. It's like a husband or a wife, a commitment for life, a sacrifice that wakes you up in the middle of the night and commands you to write.
Amen.
Voices echoing inside our head, relaying messages from the dead, mute and inarticulate. They demand to be read to no one specific, because poets are schizophrenic. And that has put them at odds with family and friends and the community at large. You see, for me, this ain't for profit, but it is for entertainment purposes. I know that God is my supply and the Holy Ghost lights my fire. Just because you don't see me in church come Sunday doesn't mean I don't believe in God. This is what we do. At times it can feel like we're losing our minds, so we sling those rhymes like David did his rock and hit the target with each and every line, like William Tell did his shot. And for those who approach this like it's some kind of business, a venture to censor, wordsmith for profit, who say, tailor these thoughts and feelings to be less offending and more appealing. Unlike the clown comedians who rarely come under fire until they do material that borders on social satire. The likes of Lenny Bruce, Dick Gregory, or Richard Pryor. Better not step into this fold. Be prepared to watch your toes, because this is no art to be bought or sold, or often or fit into a populist mold. Poetry ain't no joke. The thoughts and emotions it evokes is what worries some folks who rather rewrite about love and sex and failed relationships than history, religion, racism, and politicians. Better check your insecurities and preconceived notions at the door, because this ain't for wannabes or make-believes or folks who just don't know what they come here for. We have no control over what we say, as we do the sun rising each and every day. This is what we do. This is what we do. Sling rhymes in and out of time, just as much a wonder to us as it is to you, the experience that we fall under. So if you came here for the experience, or to be exposed to something new, to have a thought of your own, or share a different point of view, come on with it then. Because this is what we do. This is what we do. I said, this is what we do.
Right.
Amen.
Yeah.
This one, I like to share one more with you.
That's what we do.
This is what we do. This is called, I am called unknown. I am as numerous as the sands of the sea. I shine bright as the stars that fill the sky. I am as radiant as the rays of sunshine on a summer day. And they call me unknown. I am the rhythm that blows the wind. I am the beginning and ending of stories told. I am the darkness during a total eclipse. I am what the blind can only see. When the lights go out, that's me you see. Look up in the sky on any given night. I make the stars shine like diamonds. No one has been able to solve my mystery. I am that newly laid pavement just up the street. I said street. I did not say street. I never say street. I am what the fetus sees in the womb. I am what the Pharaoh saw when they entered the tomb. I am the one who drew up the plans for the great pyramids of Egypt, which still stand. I am the one who fashioned the blocks of stone from mud and straw. I am the one who brought and sold. I am the one brought and stole and sold on the auction block for a few pieces of gold. I am the one upon whose shoulders you stand. I am the one kissed by the sun, the laughter in the park, the silence in the dark, and the beat of your heart. I am the one who walked on the seven seas from the mighty Pacific to the Dead Sea. Tied a whale's tail into a knot, taught the fish how to swim. Crossed the burning sand and shook the devil's hand before I kicked his can like Muhammad Ali whooped Joe Frazier. I rolled around the world on a snail carrying a sack that said airmail. I walked 9 miles on barbed wire, caught a cobra snake, and used it for a necktie. I took a hammer and a nail, and I built the world. I gave a highway patrolman a speeding ticket. Sold a blind man a flashlight and a crippled man a pair of running shoes and told him to just do it. I am the only one in the world who knows why white milk makes yellow butter. And where the lights go when you turn off the switch. To look at me, I don't seem like much, but I am a descendant of royalty, of kings and queens whose blood still runs warm in me. To some, I am unknown, but to others, I am called a black man. Let me do one. This is kind of nice. If you don't mind.
No, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
I want to do one for the ladies.
That don't mean you, James.
This is for all the full figured women.
Woo!
I say, I don't care if you're a size 2 to a 42. I say much love.
42.
All right.
Oh, look at that.
That's a lot.
The other night I got busy with a pretty woman, and it was eat. Everybody say eat.
Eat.
Then I got busy with a medium-sized woman, and it was all right. See,
All right.
Then I got busy with a full-size woman, and all I can say is, Lord, have mercy.
Lord have mercy.
When I made love to that full-size woman, I realized I got myself in the cycle. It was a bit more than I could handle. But what the hell? So I was searching for that drunk junk in the trunk.
Zero.
But now I know it's all about what's under the hood that counts. When she got finished with me, I had tears in my eyes. I was saying like the Godfather of soul, baby, please, don't leave. Please don't leave me. I was saying this to her to let her know I would even drink your bath water. I even have your baby.
Ooh. Wow.
Nobody ever made love to me like that. Only you can satisfy my love Jones. You see, I like a woman with some meat on her bones, like homegrown, thick, and serpent sweet. She makes it hard to be pleased by a smaller size woman with a small size Kool-Aid. I know most men won't get with a woman if she's not shaped like a Coke bottle. You know who you are. Me, when I'm hot and thirsty, I don't mind getting my refreshments from a jelly jar. Man, ain't nothing on that one. I'm going to say it one more time so you know what.
Rewind.
Me, I don't mind getting, when I'm hot and thirsty, I don't mind getting my refreshments from a jelly jar. At one time, I used to think a certain size woman was for me. But now that I have had a full-size woman, all I can see is rotisserie. Big old rotisserie bread, buttery, juicy. Guys, that's enough for me. Most men want a happy-sized meal of a woman. But when I go to McDonald's, I say, make mine a suicide.
Yeah.
Plump, chunky, and round. I love me a full-size woman. I would pay top dollar to see a big woman go for what she knows instead of shaking it real fast. I said, work it, baby. Work it real.
Hey, how you really feel?
And, I've been through some trials, and this, I had to put it in some words that I could understand. I had a battle with cancer, and I had open heart surgery, and all. At the same time, not 1 year and 2 years later, but consecutively, in sync. So this is my testimony. And I just need to share this with you. Because, even coming here tonight, I had to push my way through just to get here. There's a lot of things that are blocking, not my wife. She won't be say, you got somewhere to go? Go. I did not know his love before the way I know it now. I could not see my need for him. My pride was not allowed. I had it all without a care, that self-sufficient vibe. My path was smooth, my sea was still, not a cloud in the sky. I thought I knew his love for me. I thought I'd seen his grace. I thought I didn't need to grow. I thought I found my place. But then the way grew rough and dark. The storm clouds quickly rolled in. The waves began to rock my ship on the Sea of Galilee. My anchor would not hold. The ship I had built myself was made of foolish pride. It fell apart and left me there with nowhere else to hide. I had no strength or faith to face the trials that lay ahead. So I simply prayed to him and bowed my weary head. His loving arms enveloped me, and then he helped me stand. Must still face the storm, but I will hold your hand. So through the dark and lonely night, he guided me through the pain. I didn't see the light of day or when the storm would end. Yet through the aches and endless tears, my faith began to grow. I could not see it at the time, but my light began to grow, to glow. I saw God's love in a brand new light, his grace and mercy too. But only when all self was gone could Jesus' love shine through. It was not easy in that storm. I sometimes wondered why. At times I thought, I can't go on. I hurt, I doubt, I cried. But Jesus never left my side. He guided me each day through pain and strife, through fire and flood. He helped me all along the way. And now I see as never before how great his love can be for me. How in my weakness he is strong. How Jesus cared for me. He worked it all out for my good. Although the way was rough, he only sent what I could handle or could bear. And then he cried, enough. He raised his hand and stilled the sea. He made the storm clouds cease. He opened up the gates of joy and flooded me with peace. I see his face now clear as steel. I felt his presence strong. I found anew his faithfulness. I know he never did me wrong. I know more storms will come, but only for my good. Pain and tears have helped me grow as nothing else ever could. I still have so much more to learn as Jesus works in me. But if it's in the storm, I'll love him more. And that's where I want to be.
Amen. Thank you, Brother Marcus.
Let's hear it one more time. Hold this up just a little bit. Do we have any new poets in the house?
We got some new people.
I just want to let you know it's open mic, so if you wanted to come and say a little something, and seriously, guys, don't be fooled by what people normally conceive poetry to be. They don't have to rhyme. All right, you just come up and tell a story. How somebody cut you off in traffic, you wanted to choke them out, you know, do your thing, get it off your chest, because this is definitely cheaper than bail. You tend to find that poetry is rather therapeutic. Yeah, if you want to say something, go ahead, that's fine. Decide amongst yourselves. I want to do one more piece and then bring up my good friend Dan to help us move in through the evening. I do have a couple of pieces that I'd like to do in mind. This is one actually from last week, but I'm going to do some new stuff later on this evening. As poets, we tend to get kind of pulled into things, and we write, and we write, and we write. I can show you I've got book after book after book of unfinished stuff. Because sometimes your muse picks you up for just a minute and says, you know what, I got a little something I want you to, oh, hold on, a little shiny squirrel. And next thing you know, your muse is abandoning your butt while you sit there with the pen going, but every once in a while, I do have the opportunity to go back and put some closure and completion to some pieces. So
We just need one more, James. One more, and we cut it. The full team.
Hey, guys.
Hello, welcome. Welcome.
And I want to make it
Yourself at
official
home,
for those of
anywhere,
you
there's a
who
menu if you like something to eat and drink.
make this official for those of you who have just joined us. Welcome to the Wordplay Cafe. I am your host and poet on the scene, Michael Paragon, aka the last one. So Welcome, welcome, welcome. And just a reminder, it is open mic, Rosa. So, no pressure, no pressure. But the piece that I was going to do is called The Fallen. Fallen is one of those pieces, I don't know, it just kind of came together and I just rode with it. Like I said, our muse sometimes just scoops us up and just takes us wherever he wants to take us. And this was one of those. I think you might have heard this one. Yeah. Here we go. Just to clear that up. I cried out for help already. And apparently not a spoken word was heard. All of the signs were there, and each of them was well lit. It was quite a sight to see for those predisposed and those who were tuned into it. But maybe, just maybe, if you had tried to listen, none of this shit would have happened at all. They say ostrich heads get deep in the sand, can't avoid or erase the painful landslides that a man's emotions can create. And as a magnetic sinkhole that's already taken hold of those close enough to be called my friends and those genetically doomed to be called my family. And they tend to lend a special name to this particular brand of insanity, but once the smoke clears, the loudest question that will after me will be, was this what God had planned? Because I saw the same bright lights that should have led me to more than a 72-point double-spaced headline in the video about Bible. Those lights lit a one-way path that called louder to me than anyone who ever claimed to love me. Those lights lit abscess cavities filled with blood-red memories that walked and talked 180 degrees to the love they said I'd find. But in my mind, it was all or nothing that gets taken or left behind. And no one chose to disclose the downside of dark thoughts. And so now, amid a sea of burnt-out lights whose nights will never end, there's a place for me. There's a space for me amongst the calling, amongst the fallen. And so, like Icarus, I fell. But you watched me. You watched me coming up a bright and promising young star, but the melanin of this chocolate skin hid those tears that flowed like the sticks, and each devilish deed only managed to succeed in planting a seed of regret, and each beget the next brick that built a wall so thick you couldn't go around, you couldn't go over, and you most definitely couldn't go through it, because sometimes, y'all, sticks and stones, they break more than just bones. Sometimes they break hearts. Sometimes they break lives. Sometimes they break families and homes. And when love turns to pain, we tend to refrain from other options, right? Because love is supposed to be that come-all, end-all emotion that compels us all. But what happens when the love must suffer and bleed? Tell me, what if your all was less than the need? I mean, where do you draw the finish line when your jog becomes a race amongst runners who aren't racing? I said, where do you draw the finish line when your jog becomes a race amongst runners who aren't racing? And how do you find your way back to the beginning when the best use for all those steps it took there is in erasing? But sometimes, y'all, sometimes we can turn around those weapons on those who attack, and instead of burying the knife, it's a hand that you feel in your back, because both of us know this can't go on. This shit has got to stop. And so I fell. But maybe it was my tongue, because I cried out for help already. Apparently, not a spoken word was heard. All of the signs were there, and each of them was well lit. It was quite a sight to see for those predisposed and for those who had tuned into it. But maybe, just maybe, if you had tried to listen, none of this shit would have happened at all. Thank you. Without further ado, I'm going to look up the definition and origin of the word abuse. What the hell?
Dude.
You know,
What you got to do?
you gotta wipe it off, my guy. I got some ado on my
That do.
Slip it, just don't delay what you're doing. Okay, whatever. I stepped in some ado. That's why I'm running late. It wouldn't surprise me. There's got to be a reason. Funny word. But without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the mic my fellow poet, Mr. Dan. Is it O'Shea?
It is. Yeah.
O'Shea? There it is. All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Dan.
Yes.
Just for the people who just came in, let's remind that we are streaming live. So if you got like warrants or the CIA and any of that kind of stuff, you might know.
Wanted by any legal parties, do not get in front of this camera. I will protect you.
But you can go to Tbones Hot Spot on YouTube. Send people there; they can watch it right away. Or you can go to Facebook Tbones Hot Spot and get a direct link.
All right, everybody. If you're out there in the cyber world, you hear that Tbones Hot Spot on YouTube. Click on the little button, probably in the bottom right corner would be my guess, for live feed, and it would be wonderful. We would love to see you and join you and post comments and all that good stuff. So I came all the way up from Tampa to just drop a couple new pieces on you. So hopefully you like them.
You can pick that stand up or take it off or whatever.
Yeah, I got it.
Put it up on the stage. There you go.
No, I did the poetry workshop thing on how to use a microphone.
Okay.
Really helpful.
I said 101.
Yeah, you know, unloosen it, pull up. It's usually helpful. All right, well, I guess while I'm up here, I'll do a little additional poetry promotion. Tampa Bay Poetry Workshop, Facebook Tampa Bay Workshop scene. A lot of cats up there doing really good positive
I meant to tell you that.
people, reminding structures and formats, and just good conversations.
And just
And if I forget to mention anybody, don't forget I love y'all. I do love you sincerely. But
Just throw it in the other thing. It'll be quick.
okay. There's no loyalty. I go to a lot of open mics and I see a lot of performances, and I'm not trying to say this is a bad thing, but I always hear a lot of performers do this, and not that it's a negative thing, but I always hear, I wrote this poem when I was in a dark place, when a lot of stuff was going on, and I get that, you know, I really do. But sometimes, like when you go to an open mic when there are 30 people reading, and the 22nd person goes, okay, I was writing this poem, I broke up with my girlfriend, so. Now the thing is with the good stuff and with the real important stuff, it's good to know. But if you're a good poet or if you're a good writer, we can kind of figure out where you're at. So I occasionally like to have fun with the things that anger me, and like Michael was saying, sometimes for poets our best medicine is just to write about the things that upset us. Stops me from having road rage issues and hitting people. Not that I would hit anybody anyway, but here's your first one. I wrote this poem when I was in a dark place.
Broke up with your girlfriend.
Yeah, before I say this, I broke up with my girlfriend. Okay, so I wrote this poem when I was in a dark place. Cable out, flat tire, laid off. Heart torn, worn down. Caught cheating, hand in the cookie jar. Feeding, pleading, for one last chance. One last dance on that burning bridge. Afraid of the fall, but even more petrified of the landing. One more chance at a predetermined shot of additional pain. No umbrella can dodge that kind of rain. So collect belongings, but leave behind some pride. This road that we live is long, and she's not taking the ride. The dark place is bullshit. These dark clouds are memories with chains on them. This romantic comedy is actually a tragedy, with a ton of sequels that don't involve victory or sanity or that gay music at the end that makes everybody know the closure happened. How I feel should be the day, the time of day, right in the morning, right before the sun comes up when everything's cool. I would like to be that. And so I will continue to do this. I will continue to do so. Artificial love or no. This rookie's turning pro. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, baby. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry that you deserve better. And you're better than me and my art combined. Your love will always be a benchmark that no clever words or puns will ever define. Thank you. That's first place, dark place. Now some of this stuff is fictitious. I'll let the audience figure out what is what and all that stuff. Yeah, and actually you know where that's at. Okay, so I kind of had a couple of rough spots the last couple of weeks. I was indeed in a dark place, and so I had the therapy that I needed. You know, I wrote it, I put it out there, and for those that don't know me, I'm a big fan of life. I'm a big fan of love, and I think there's a really close relationship between love and hate. So when you say you hate someone, do you really? You know, and I listen to a lot of kind of hippie music, and one of the quotes to one of the artists I really love is what he always used to say is, A best friend is always a best friend, and a worst friend is just a best friend that did you wrong. And I always sat on that and thought on that. There were people that in my past that I thought I could never forgive. And here it is years later, and Facebook friend requests. Hey, haven't talked to you in years. And I kind of thought, yeah, I kind of deserved it. It's nice to hear from you, but, and then what's new? Well, in 10 years, it's kind of hard to narrow it down. Like I'm still here, things are good, life is good, making friends, making family. And so, when I wrote this piece early this morning, I kind of realized that, other people are going to have their problems. You can do your best to solve them, but ultimately the responsibility lies with them. So use your heart and spread it out as best you can. But ultimately, it's up to them what they do with their lives. So to all the people that are out there that feel like they need a friend or they need a hand, you got one. You've always had a hand. It's always been there. And don't feel like you're alone because you're not. Okay. So, I'm going to drop one more piece on you. This is a new thing. It's a little silly, so I'm going to try it. All right, got a clap. I appreciate that. And again, thank you to Tbones for hosting this wonderful spot. I love the place, and it's right by the golf gate. So if anybody's into it, I'm a huge fan of this area. So I think you all should come out and try some of this. Tea's wonderful, the coffee's great, all that good stuff. Okay, so here we go. What I've seen and what I should. I've been to open mics in bad neighborhoods. I've seen nice women and assholes. Smoked blunts, joints, bongs and bowls, ripped rips, tabs, shots and dabs, heard bongos and beat machines, drum circles and street teams, performed on working and broken mics, had a seat stolen off a favorite bike, failed to fight and avoided strikes. This poetry thing is ABC wordplay, off the training wheels now, and this Dan's gonna have his day. From dimes to pounds, nickels to dubs, if you feel stressed, let me give you a rub. The meaning of life is to spread love. My third eye's been bloodshot from tears and pain, with this tasty style giving all your muscles a strain. I don't see color, race, nor religion, ghost, Bigfoot, or those stupid participation ribbons. There are winners, there are losers, pros and cons, yins and yangs, shirts and skins. Victory isn't the win, it's the process it takes to get there. Give an acceptance of humility and tolerance, respecting of others' abilities, always subscribing to Plan B pills, being aware of one's surroundings, and don't put too much value on things. This dry-throw perspective on life's about to get wet, with rivers, dams, creeks, and creeks, seas, oceans, lakes, and sinks. We're mostly fluid, as is this planet, and it's time we start actively filling up our cups. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Hey, one more time, everybody. And as he mentioned, he is part of the Tampa Bay family of poets. Since we've been doing the Wordplay Cafe coming up for 3 years now, we've been expanding and trying to reach out and pick up other venues, not necessarily to claim, but we are a network, we are a family, we're all connected. Trying to grow things here in Sarasota, ladies and gentlemen, trying to grow things in Sarasota, but the things happening in Tampa are kind of dynamic, and we just touch base with that. We definitely relate to that. We love having you here. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. And I say that because I need a cup of coffee. It's been a day, so I'm going to turn the music up. Maybe we'll kick it back for 2 songs, and then we'll get right back. Be right back. What the rock? Oh.
Wind it. Wind it.
Hey, you two. Hey, you two.
I heard you. Call my eyes out. And you say,
So, you love the new business?
Huh?
You love the new business?
Thank you so much. I'm Terry. Juanita, my pleasure. My Patricia, and my Jay. Open November 28th, so we just passed the 6 month. Yeah, a lot of people know. The word is just, I'm completely in my growth cycle. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be bigger than I am. You know what I mean? So what I can handle is what I am. And things go like when I get this new machine hooked up and a couple other little pieces to this puzzle, then I'll be willing to go out and let everybody know I'm here. Right now it's just whoever finds their way here. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm the only coffee shop in the, at least 5 mile radius. It's not Starbucks. So it's good. Then we're getting, I get this thing hooked up tomorrow, and I'm going full speed ahead. I haven't even had a grand opening, but I'm this is not on it. It's a coffee called Sniffer Bean. Like the cookies, like cinnamon. Yeah, well, this is all already changed. This is all Debbie donated to me like a while back, and it was really a real blessing. And I got some people from the local coffee company that have come in, and they're giving me like some real high-end stuff, canisters and all that. No, it's called the local coffee. They gave me a flyer. I don't know when I did it. They got everything. No, these are donated. What's going to come in is going to be an organized, kind of real tea. They got breakfast, they got Earl Greys, and they're all organic. Yeah. We like to have organic coffee and tea. Yeah. It's all put together. I mean, everything is there. I know nothing about the coffee business when I started. I had to jump in like head first and had to do my research and go through the bumps and bruises of people who really know what they're talking about, and I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. They let you know. Yeah, man. Thank you. It's pretty much like a picture, which is cool. You don't get that often in life. You got something in your brain that that's finally go. And we did all the work ourselves. So, tomorrow. A lot of love in the walls. Madison is I've been about 13 years. Yeah. I'm just singing, man. That's our way. Shelby Garden.
Well, I wouldn't catch you.
Gee whiz.
So you do.
Yeah, like their address over there.
Yeah, there's a few native Sarasota. You can be very good.
Another one, it's about 5.
What? Native, no, GCP. Oh yeah, most of everybody's stranded. But once you get here, you don't go. That's the whole point. I see people have it. I've seen it happen over the years. People, I'll meet them and we become friends. And I said, okay, you're gonna move down. I guarantee you, it happens to everybody. Give it a year or something. There they are. Hey, we move.
Well, New Yorkers are sometimes the hardest to get out of New York.
It's hard to get out. It's hard to get out. When I got out, I was like Whitney Houston. I had to exhale, boy. And it's weird because nobody's following me because we ended up in New York out of North Carolina. One of my aunts was everybody moved to New York. I figured when I moved down here, it'd be a mass exodus, but my family's New Yorkers. They don't know nothing else. They don't want to know nothing else. God bless them. I tell them I'm gonna live longer. Yeah. I hope everybody lives forever. That's the pace of their boy. Kill you. Yeah. Huh?
Down here?
No, I mean, you gotta really adjust. It was when I first got down because, I mean, even like doing business, in my previous business life, we gotta get it done yesterday. You know what I mean? Because somebody is trying to beat you to the punch. Here, what I heard more often than not was, let's do it next Thursday.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
What? And then I caught myself saying, I like Thursday. You know, so I kind of slowed down to the pace because what was happening is that I was like blowing people away. They were like, whoa, dude, whoa. Slow your roll just a little bit. So finally, it's like any kind of thing, you rub it enough, you spin it like this, you rub it enough, it'll slow down. The first time I went back to New York was after about a year. I moved to Gainesville first. And I went back and I flew into Newark and got came in just half came in Penn Station just like 7:30. Man, people came flying out of the turnstiles. I was moving like this, jumping in cars. I was like, whoa, that used to be me. That was me. Oh my God. So, yeah, I'm.
You must like Gainesville.
Gainesville was slower than Sarasota.
Yeah.
I used to live there 20 years.
In Gainesville?
I love Gainesville.
When were you there?
Well, wait, what's that? 75 to 92.
I moved in 96. I moved there in 96.
A year of New York City.
Yep, 96.
It was funny because it's one of the areas I was over in New York City. Really cool.
Well, yeah, you were.
She had to work now. She got to praise her schedule 12-hour shift, so she like 3 days off, 3 days off.
Now, this week, you get it.
So every other week we got to come.
Ooh, I love you.
She watching this right now. Though.
Sushi and coffee.
Yeah, she got crazy up on the phone.
Sushi and
You're absolutely right. Oh, so here's the answer to this thing. Jimmy?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, it's Jimmy, I meant to say, when I got in the car, it's
Everybody's
Jimmy.
thinking for
Jimmy, Jimmy. They don't really work. They don't really
Tell you what was scary was when she was going out with her girl.
You want to say hi to
Serious?
Always.
Let me put one on first.
Well, that was 14 years ago. I used to go to the like you see what you friends. I mean, that's right. Again. People have been running. They're just made their schedule. That's what you do about it.
Welcome back. I said a couple of few songs, but I think that was probably it. We're gonna get back into it, and also promise you guys I'll share some new stuff.
New stuff, that's my man.
New stuff. Maybe this is the end result of too much time with pen and ink. Too many pieces left to overstand, or too much knowledge to share with my fellow man. Because with each word, I free myself. Redirecting the blind light of the mirror in order to better see myself.
And put it down lower.
Downloading the latest upgrades to device 1 2.0 in order to better be myself. Because what you see now will soon pass. And just as yesterday was tomorrow to the day after next, this too will soon become the past. Because time is just a concept expressed from within our minds. The spoken word is just life that's expressed through each piece, through each word, and through each line. Good evening. Hey.
Where's your mom?
She's coming.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to stop this right now.
Rewind. You got your stuff with you? Got your stuff?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah? Oh, great. Well. I'm sorry. I do apologize. Technology.
Silence your phones.
I don't think anybody mind you guys sharing the table with them. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey. I'm going to take a break and reload.
Rewind.
Reload.
And this is a good idea.
Hello there.
I know I
How
asked
are
you
you?
to coffee, but sitting over here about to burst into flames. I got this crazy metabolism. I eat about 6 times a day. Wow. Yeah. No joke. 6 times a day. Hey, shiny too. Yes. All right. Well, let me go ahead and reload that. Because just maybe this is the end result of too much time with pen in hand. Too many pieces left to overstand and too much knowledge to share with my fellow man. That's a train that I think may have left. So, I'm going to do something else new.
Another new piece.
Yeah. I told you guys I use grabs here every once in a while, so you just have to kind of roll with it. And sometimes we dabble into a piece that has no connection to it, but it is for someone else.
Yeah, that's called death by shot.
And before I get into this, there's not a whole heck of a lot of rough language, but there are a couple choice words that might make a pastor toes curl. So just let it ride. We're going folks. This piece is entitled 21 Grams. This is also one of the rare times that I read. I tend to prefer to recite my stuff. I was once told that the average heart weighs about 21 grams. But I think that some hearts are just heavier than others. I said I was once told that the average human heart weighs about 21 grams, but I think that some hearts are just heavier than others. A mass of muscle and connective tissues, apparently best suited for forgetting and then reconnecting my issues, anatomically rooted in recirculating my oxygen and blood, yet connected in mankind's mind as a mind for our love. But there's got to be more. Because we're blessed with 4 functioning chambers with a seemingly infinite capacity for my love, my pain, my hurt, and my anger. These 21 grams can hold a ton of bullshit. And they won't skip a beat, regardless of whatever life may come with. Ironically, when you were hip deep in love, it seemed like you'd given so much that you couldn't care anymore. And now that the love is over, it seems like you just couldn't care anymore. And so, if love is supposed to last a lifetime, how come it's not there anymore? Unless our lives are measured by our love, and there's no heartbeat anymore. Just that flat-lying reminder. And it's hopeless to hold out hope for a heart so filled with cold, since the fine grains of love freely flow, while pain tends to remain in boulder-sized servings that serve just one purpose, masking what lurks beneath the surface, and inviting the next ex to join in this emotional masquerade. Because honestly, maybe it should be called hate making, because real love just can't be made. together. Something so precious, yet only available to be shared and exchanged, like that key setting us free from the heavyweight hate and its chains, and somewhere amongst the heartbreak and pain, at least the concept of loving you forever remains, contained in this place, reserved for her and for her alone. Thank you. Thank you. Since we are dividing our time now by 4 or 5 people, I want to make sure everybody has an opportunity to come on board and touch the mic tonight, because really that's what the Wordplay Cafe is all about. Usually when I'm here with my host Daisy, we don't mind. We will do a whole show. Seriously, we will do a whole show. But it's never been about us. The Wordplay Cafe is an open venue for poets and for spoken word artists, new, veterans, regardless. So let me do one more. And we may be joined by the youngest poet in the house. She looks up like me. Yeah, you.
It's not even close. Come on.
Yeah, okay. Let's try skyscrapers. For 7 days, I sat and watched the sunset in a weak attempt to temporarily forget what my heart wouldn't allow me to. And as my emotions conspired against me and my tears struggled to extinguish the fires burning within me, I realized that nothing and no one else mattered right then, or right now. Because the plural had become singular. And it's the aching vacancy of her departure that proves to me that to her everything really was as important as my next breath. As my right hand embraced her left. As her flesh pressed into mine, as our bodies intertwined until that last post-orgasmic sigh left her chest. And in my mind, I see steam as the sunset kisses her horizon and invites me to dream again. But dream of what? There's no brown eyes calling out to me, no inviting soft lips or sweet tone. Because for the first time in a lifetime, I'm totally undone. But I know that she knows that I know that she's hurting too, because it's a special kind of connection that we've always had and we probably always will too. And so, in my defense, there's no self-defense in my displaying some type of hyped-up bravado. Because that part of me that she maintains is missing. And nothing and no one else can heal this shit. Just as sure as my worst enemy was that little dude from 3rd grade who used to jack me for my fruit cups, but I wouldn't even want him to feel that shit. Because skyscrapers built on 4 foundations can only do 2 things well. And to amaze and fascinate the lovers of architecture and make headlines when they crash all to hell. And amid those twisted beams of love, struggle, mangled amidst the cementation struggle, they neither prove nor defy the laws of love. They neither prove or defy the laws of love. They're the soon rusting reminders that sometimes love wears blinders, and for those of us who need it the most, it just can't reach them. It's like we're on that elevator car slowly climbing to the 123rd floor, but we're racing to the rooftops without the keys to the security room door. And even though we realize our steps are impaired, we continue to press on and proceed with our needs until we bleed upstairs. And as the sum of all fears has a zero net worth, and we stare snapshot along the curvature of Mother Earth, then those brown eyes did come. And I answered those soft lips and sweet tongue. And as her left hand flipped from my right, I realized then that my world would soon be undone, because skyscrapers built on 4 foundations can only do 2 things well. To amaze and fascinate the lovers of architecture and break hearts when they crash all to hell. And brown eyes remain brown from tears, as gravity did what gravity always does. Repossessing and reclaiming those things our hearts ever had the nerve to claim for love. And so, see, the best laid plans and well-selected materials must be chosen with discerning eyes. Because in the end, we're either the architects of our own successes or the architects of our own demise.
Yeah. Let's bring on deck
Let's bring back on deck, I should say, and give you a minute and a half. No pressure. But let's bring back our good friend, Dr. Mark Lynch, if he's ready. Ready? All right. Help me welcome back to the microphone and stage, Mark Lynch.
Hey, that's your Chippendale name?
I could.
James? That's your Chippendale name?
I could. I couldn't sit there for a moment.
That everybody kind of gets that. You know, I wrote this, and I wrote it for the people. This is for the people who say yes. This is for like a door that says yes. This is for people like Tbones who says yes. You know, come on in, you're welcome. This is for everybody who says yes to those things. When two violins are placed in a room, if a chord on one violin is struck, the other violin will sound the note. If this is your definition of hope, this is for you. For the ones who know how powerful we are, who know we can sound the music in the people's hearts simply by playing our own strings. For the ones who sing life into bruised, battered, and broken wings, opening their chest and offering their breath to help people sing as wind on a still day when nothing seems to be moving. Knowing that God is not dead, but God is alive, they see him in the people's eyes they meet. This is to you. For the time you master the art of giving yourself for the sake of someone else. For the ones who have felt what it is to crush the lies and lift truth so high the people's bow to the sky. This is for you. This is also for the people who wake up early in the morning to watch the flowers bloom, who watch the moon at noon on a day when the world has slapped them in the face. This is for women and for the men who know what it means when women bleed with the moon. There are men who cry when women bleed, men who bleed from women's wounds. This is for the day we will quit our job and work for something real. We'll be looking for sunshine in the shadows and sunrise and sun rays in the shade. This is for the people who rattled the cages the slave wages built, and for the ones who didn't know the filth that existed until now. But right now, I'm beginning to sing songs that sound like people turning their porch lights on and calling the disenfranchised and the homeless back home. This is for the doubt becoming faith, for falling from grace and climbing back up, for trading our silver platters for something that matters. Like the gold that shines from our hands when we hold each other. This is for the mamas, big mamas, Medea, aunties, and grandmothers who walk 1,000 miles on broken glass to find a pink patch of grass to plant a family tree where fruit will grow. For the ones who know the math of war has always been subtraction, so they live their life like an action of addition. War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. The one who profits is the undertaker. There is a war going on, and the revolution will not be televised. I said the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. No replays, no reruns, no slow motion, or stop action. For the time you went through hell so someone else wouldn't have to, like Martin, Malcolm, Medgar, and Stephen Fetchit. Be like Don Quixote. You know who he was? He fought the windmills. Stand up and shout at the windmills. Stop the madness and insanity. This is for the known becoming yes, yes, yes. For scars becoming breaths of life for those who have none. For saying I love you to people who will never say it back to you. For scraping away the rust and remembering how to shine. You remember that, don't you? For the dimes you gave away when you didn't have a penny. For every song you sung and believing in miracles, because miracles are the impossible coming true, and everything is possible, even blue skies and no violence. This is for the possibility that guides us. This is for the possibility still waiting to be sung and spread their wings inside of us. When whatever song you have been singing, you need to sing it even more. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. The world needs to hear you right now more than it ever has before. Pull all your strings. Play all your chords. It only takes a few good men to fold their hands and do nothing for evil to prosper. But 1,000 could put 10,000 to flight. Start tearing down bars. If you're handing out flashlights, start handing out stars to light the way. Never go a second hushing the percussion in your heart. Play loud. Play like you know the clouds have left too many people cold and broken and standing in the dark. And if this and that, you're their last chance for sunlight. You all will get that. Play like you know the clouds have left too many people cold and broken and standing in the dark. And you're their last chance for sunlight. Play like there's no time left for hoping for brighter days will come. Play like the apocalypse is 4, 3, 2, 1. You have a drama in your chest that could save us. You have a song like a breath that could raise us, like sunrise in a dark sky that cries to be blue. Play like you know we won't survive if you don't. But we will if you do. God put us here to help each other, not to manipulate, kill, destroy, and destroy each other. This is for saying yes. This is for saying yes. This is for saying yes.
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 I can laugh. And I'm about to share this with somebody other than my wife who hears everything I do. This is what I want, a crucifixion type love. I want a crucifixion type love. When I was a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put childish things behind. Love is all about sacrifice. I want to love her like Christ loved the church. Love her like the Father in heaven loves her. Love her like the Holy Spirit loves her soul and loves her like she was created to be loved. But I must confess, sometimes my flesh rises up and tries to intimidate me and get in the way. I hear my spirit rise from the depths of this corrupted prison with the voice of angels screaming, I have not yet loved her to the extent that Christ loves her. That Christ loved the church. See, I want a crucifixion type love. You got to listen to this. Men, you need to listen to this. Every time I hug her, I want my arms to be spread out on the cross, and I want to die to my childish ways. And every time I look into her eyes, I want a crown of thorns to be placed upon my head so that I will surrender my thought life to her honor. And I want the walls to be torn down like the walls of Jericho. See, I want a crucifixion type love. I want my side to be pierced every time we laugh together so that I will always remember that she is my rib. And every time I sleep and dream of her, I want my back to be beaten with a cat of nine tails so that I will always carry her burdens for her. And every time I'm not with her, I want to stand before Pilate and stand true to my relationship with her. See, I want those who have seen me to have seen her in me when we are apart. I want a crucifixion type love. I want a love that will cause dead men to rise. When people gaze on us, I want them to know who this Christ is that we speak of. And every time she falls, I want to take her into my arms and lift her up to Calvary's cross. I want men to mark me for not wanting to be like them, for not wanting to squander my love on various women, but to have the passion to pour my love onto one soul for all eternity. I want a crucifixion type love. I want a love that was predestined from eternity. I want a love that was birthed in the womb. I want a love that is willing to give up this world for her. I want a love that's immaculate. I want a love that makes angels wish they were in my shoes. I want a love that will make me pray to God and say, who am I that you are mindful of me to bless me with her? You see, I want a crucifixion type love. I want a love that bleeds purity. I want a love that will make people lie on us just to see us split apart. That's heavy.
Rewind.
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 I want a love that will make people lie on us just to see us split apart. I want a love that will make me run to a far village, far away, and build a mansion for her with my bare hands and send her love letters every day, reminding her of me. Letters that she will keep in a book and spend time reading every day. I want a love that will make me walk on water in the middle of the most dangerous storm. I want crucifixion type love. I want a love that my friends will betray me because of my affection for her. I want a love that after we've been gone for centuries to come, men will aim to follow in our legacy. And every time I rise in the morning, I want it to be my cross being raised upright for her, to stand on the hill of my life and portray a beautiful sacrifice. I want to be placed in the tomb of her heart. I want a love that will rise with all power over adversity. I want a love, crucifixion type love. I want a love that heals, the kind of love that covers the wounds that were dug deep by the knives of infidelity and insecurity. I want a love that makes God get up and dance around his throne every time he sets his eyes on us. I want a crucifixion type love. So, with all that said, Lord, please give me the strength to love her like you love me. And just like out of love you serve serve us through your sacrifice in the same way that me served her unconditionally and infinitely. So let me man up and quit wasting time and playing games and pursue her like you pursue the church. Because you have chosen me to be entrusted with her. Let me cherish her like a jeweler cherishes a diamond. Let me examine it and find out every minute detail about her worth. See, I want to love her like Abraham loved Sarah. Love her like Isaac loved Rebekah. Love her like Jacob loved Rachel. Love her like Moses loved Ruth. Love her like Solomon loved his queen. You see, she is the jewel in my crown. I want a crucifixion type love. Yes. This is the last piece I want to do. This is called Blues Lady Sing. My wife was a blues singer, so I was thinking, I did this for her. And I want to share it with you. Sing your song of redemption, make us feel proud. Sing your song of liberation and sing it loud. Take a tune that's quick and light and make it black and bold. Rap to us about the men hung and the children sold. Blues lady, sing. Play your piano in a strange land to celebrate the life of an African. Play our favorite jams, and then sing with you in one accord. Sing, breathing, blues, madness, beating down the hip hop, hipping the hipsters, hipping the young hipsters to C sharp and Pig Latin.
Nothing about that.
I kind of like to do this. Beating down the hip hop, the hip and the hop, hipping the youngsters to C sharp, Pig Latin, bebop. Play your piano and chant your spell. Pour over our souls your cat call of love. Touch our hearts and make us obsessed to hear you roll in your ancient myths. Move us to dance like we were possessed. Ocean of blues, sing in colorful hues. We yearn to taste your voodoo brews.
Rewind.
Ocean of blues, sing in colorful hues. We yearn to taste your voodoo brews. Your beautiful ebony voice are the chord of your instrument, tattooed on our faces, seared on our tongues, resonate. Cry me a river from our internal drums. Sing, loosely, sing. Impregnate us with your ancestral biff. Rock us with your blazing riffs. Let all those that hear you be devoured. Bring the sun as you do at the midnight hour, so that they will feel what we feel. We love you, blues lady, and always will. So sing, blues lady, and let your song carry from Atlanta to Cape Town, demanding respect and now. Thank you very much.
Right.
One more time, guys. How you doing? All right. We are joined this evening by a young woman who is going to be doing her thing. She's part of the poetry group over at Booker, the Dragon Cafe.
Yep.
It's my distinct pleasure to have you here this evening. Is that my phone again?
It is, yeah.
On it.
Come on up.
Head of the line.
If my tail tells my word.
He's working.
I'm trying to think politically correct, so just go with that.
We heard you know that.
Yeah,
We heard you.
No, you
It's very subtle.
This is one of those occupational hazards of hosting. Sometimes names do slip. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome to the mic, Alex.
All right.
All right.
I don't really need that much.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Hi.
As
Michael.
Michael said,
Where are you?
I'm joking a little bit.
Where are you?
I was a part of the Dragonfly Cafe at Booker Middle, so that's where I learned how to write. And this was a poem that just came to me, and not just now, but it came to me on different days. And we entered it in a few contests, including Poetry Life. I don't know if any of you know what that is, but it's a weekend for poetry that's held in Sarasota, where people go around and they read poetry and stuff like that. It was one of the top 3, which I actually got a top 3 last year too.
Right.
And we entered it in a Sarasota Writing Fest as well, and it also got good. It was number 2. So I figured I should read that.
Grace us.
Let's hear it.
Okay. His looks had changed since last I'd seen him so long ago. Somehow his skin seemed not to fit. as if it were a size too small, stretched over his thin frame. I took note of the way he held his sleeves and caught him glancing at my arms. In his raspy, trembling voice, he told me of the way his mother had offed herself, and I pretended not to recognize the gleam in his eyes when he spoke of death. And although he didn't realize it, I read the plan he had. And when the bell attached to the door of the bookstore rang, and I watched him disappear from my view, I was left with an acute sense of grief. So when I saw his smiling face on the news the next day, I was not surprised.
All right.
Nice.
And I have
That's
one
a
more
great
other
person.
This one doesn't have a title, just so you know. We, all together, are a solar system. In one galaxy, and we each in our own ways depend on the orbits of others. For our stability, and if the moon were to leave the Earth to orbit Mars, how will the oceans rise and fall? How will the stars remember to shine? What will be the light in the inked black sky for the poets late at night to watch their ink dry?
Amen. Nice. Short and sweet. Nice.
Thank you, Alex. Hopefully we'll hear more from you in the future.
Yes.
We continue to do our thing here. Glad to have you back. Bring others. You said you were a member of the Dragonfly.
Yeah, I graduated last
You know, you poets pay attention to every word. But you guys don't still get together? and do a couple
No, we do,
things?
actually.
Tell us all about it.
Every 9 weeks at Booker, they have a Dragonfly Cafe where we open our room to everyone, during the school year. To anyone and everyone that wants to come in and listen. And all Miss Fox says once a Dragonfly, always a Dragonfly. So even the people who graduate tend to come back.
Gotcha.
So that's what I intend.
All right. Once a poet, always a poet. Every 9 months.
Every 9 weeks.
9 weeks. Birthing a baby. We have a kid every 9 months. They were born after. I'm gonna do one final piece for the evening from me, and this is the only piece that I've got that's set to music. But bear with me just a second while I can get this in order. While I'm getting this together, I gotta ask, is everybody having a good time? Are we?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Great time.
Marvelous. Thanks again to Tbone
My pleasure.
for giving us a spot to call home.
Listen, you don't know that this is a fulfillment of my dream. So, you know, while I was nailing nails, I was thinking about you guys being here.
Okay, don't wake up. Don't wake up. Dreaming with you, brother. We really had nothing but good experiences with the other venues in Sarasota, starting at the Floridian, which was okay. Considering that we're really trying to bring the poetry momentum to Sarasota, that place was huge. And when you have a turnout of 15 to 20 people in a place that seats 250, it looks like the house is empty. Trust me when I say it, there have been some times when I would go there and I'm like, man, I'm going back home. But you push through it and you learn to just keep growing, and so we did. But we did kind of outgrow the Floridian. So we moved up the road to See Here, also on Main Street, great venue. In all honesty,
Eat here.
Eat Here. Yeah, in all honesty, I think they didn't take us serious when I said we're going to give you 75 people. So when Moses West came through and we gave them 75 people in a room that seats 50, And they gave us 2 people on staff and 1 behind the bar. Yeah, it wasn't nice.
Great night, though.
Wasn't nice. Yeah, we did. We had a great time, but it was a little overwhelming. So we found a new spot, and things were good. Till you had to go upstairs. People got tired of going upstairs, which I can co-sign. Moving equipment in and out, the whole 9 yards. Upstairs gets to be a little what? I'm a young cat. Give you $1, you can guess how old I am.
31.
Johnny, tell him what he could have won.
Not $1.
But all that being said, it opened my eyes to the fact that not only are we doing something that people want, but we have to be able to facilitate all aspects of what people want. And I didn't want any excuses, So now we've got it. Ground level, perfect venue, the right size. Life's good. Life's good.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to a couple of people watching, in particular my boy Timothy Fitzgerald. Hey. There are a few people watching. You can say, just text her and say, give me a shout out.
Okay, Big Tim. He's in the house. He's in the house. And there it is. All right. Probably going to have to tweak the volume on this as we go, but that'll be.
That's what the toes do.
Wow. Oh, that's my fault.
Yeah, turn your volume up.
Yeah. Technology.
Remember to turn it down when you get off.
Okay. All right. Wow.
Need some help?
No, it's coming. It's just it's taking longer than I thought, but we're good.
All right.
Now this piece, like I said, it's the only one that I have set to music. So this is called yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's called It's called Foundations. Because I was raised in a house that was filled with love and some tension. No, not quite perfect, though nothing man-made ever really is, but it was just enough for the life that I lived for me to lay down the foundations. And I grew as a man to understand that by every definition of a relationship began with trust and ended in some higher level of faith. And that anything less than that was less than a waste of my time and of my efforts and of my emotions. And not to mention the darkness that can form in those corners where seeds of light would need to fight in order to survive and bleed all night. But when life has to rise, we just do whatever needs to be done until the sun greets us again. And then we pick those bricks from the sticks and stones, letting our successes be the revenge on those who fail to break our bones. Let them be the ones who made us stronger than death till it takes life itself to take away our very last breath. And we had agreed to work this land together, knowing that I would need her sensitivity and that she would need my strength. I gave her mine and she shared hers with me, captured within our hearts and exchanged ever so freely. But no one ever taught us how to work our way through the weeds. Through a lifetime of scattered opportunities, we both planted erratic seeds. And sometimes, what grows from the past of the darkest parts of your heart starts to erode in the present what your future truly needs. Because your parents can only show you how to love, but they argue amongst their own closed doors, and that's what creates the void that eats you alive. And in 5, 4, 3, you two become separate ones. And just as what's lived can't be forgotten, sometimes what's said can't be undone. And those weeds continue to grow. The only thing's proven to do so in a vacuum. And it's the light and the love that's the first things consumed. Have you screaming across a sea of silence while you're side by side in the same bed, in the same room? But I was raised in a house that was filled with love and some tension. Now, not quite perfect, though nothing man-made ever really is. But it was just enough for the life that I lived, for me to lay down foundations. And So maybe if I'd seen more of the less than heavenly side of love that sometimes makes a grown man run, I would have learned that not everyone that you give your heart to knows what the hell to do with it. Maybe I would have learned that love is a balance worth having in your life, but that the lack of it isn't a valid reason to die inside because it's stronger than any truth and it's deeper than any lie. Maybe I would have learned that being the last man standing sometimes means you're the first man to witness everyone else's love die. But I was raised in a home that was filled with love and some tension. No, not quite perfect. No, nothing man-made ever really is. But it was just enough for the life I led for me to lay down foundations.
Yeah. Oh, that's deep. That's deep. That's deep.
I wrote that from a dark place.
You broke up with your girlfriend. You broke up with your girlfriend.
I only cry when I really feel cold and I cry. Okay? There you go.
Keep that shirt on.
All right.
Yeah.
I truly appreciate that. I have accepted the fact that what we do, what we consider the art of poetry, it really connects us. It's a common thread that runs through all our lives. And I'm always touched when I hear that I do something that touches someone else. And I've made it a personal goal to ensure that people feel my words. And I think we as poets, we owe that to our audience. Every piece has meaning to someone. So I definitely don't take it lightly. Thank you very much for that. Shoot. Dan?
Yeah.
Did you want to share another piece with us?
I'll have another piece, so I'll go up there and talk. I don't care.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, come on. Guys, help me welcome back to the mic.
Nice.
My good friend and poet.
She was adorable. I like her. Talk back to Bob. Well, I gotta say, it's good seeing young poets up here. Let me ask you something. Do you get nervous, Alex? A little, no? Oh.
I'm in theater. I don't have the option.
Now, where do you
doesn't have the option.
Do you have any idea?
I don't know yet. I want to be a teacher.
Oh, perfect. Well, so I'm a USF guy. I'm just trying to plan ahead, you know, like the type of
I got one more
way
year.
poetry. All right, well, I'm keeping tabs on you. But if I may offer a small bit of advice on air in front of everybody here, your feature piece, the one that won all those awards that you wrote for us, excellent stuff.
great.
Don't feel like you're handcuffed to it.
That was great.
Keep writing. You know, your feature piece is what everybody else thinks is your feature piece. I had a poem that I did a long time ago. And it had a lot of layers and a lot of meaning, and sometimes poetry is funny like that. And I'm here on the air to right a few wrongs about this particular poem. There's a poem that I did that when I got up here, when I got up to Tampa, I was like, oh, let me hear the bowl poem, let me hear the bowl poem. And I'm one of those people that I really don't like doing the same poem 2 or 3 times. It just kind of gets old for me, and I feel like maybe that the audience is all the same people, and it never is. So this bowl piece that I did was about a cereal bowl. It wasn't a drug reference, it wasn't some code for anything, and I had just literally written it about a cereal bowl. And I had written in the prose that it was my favorite cereal bowl, and then I missed it. So I made kind of a blues song out of it. I'm gonna miss you, bowl, the cereal we've had together, all the microwavable rice late at night, all that stuff. So after performing it a couple times, people up at USF said, so, what did you since buy a new bowl? And I'm like, I'm able to buy cereal. Like, that was the only bowl I can have, and that was it. So I'm here on the air to kind of let everybody know about this particular bowl. It was a blue bowl glass. I enjoyed it very much. And the problem ultimately with the poem is, it's a lie. I have 2 of those bowls in my pantry right now. So every morning when I wake up to get my bowl of cereal, I always have a little chuckle. I'm like, these 2 stupid bowls have been haunting me. And I always kind of, and and I want to drop them, but they don't fall, they don't break. It's like they were designed by some random flea market that I picked them up in, that they were just destined to be part of my poetry. So now it's got me kind of looking at everything I have a little different. I love my microwave, I love all the inanimate objects, and I'm confusing people in the back.
No, not at all.
But now that I do have the microphone here, and I don't know about the theater major over here, but I love being the center of attention. I love being in front of everybody.
All eyes on you.
But I will take this opportunity to thank not only this venue and really everybody. And the thing is life is really long, and sometimes the people that you run into might say 2 words to you, but those words can resonate. I would much, and the thing is always, people that love you are going to say really mean things to you. I'm a northerner, so I'm used to my parents and my grandmother telling me, when are you going to do something with your life? I am doing something with my life, but apparently it's not good enough. But you know what, that's okay. I would much rather hear criticism from someone I love than someone I don't know. And that's a big, big thing. And I've had, and the thing to remember about poets is we're opinionated. We've got unique way of saying things. I'm a big fan of regional dialects. I'm a big fan of things like word is bond. I love that phrase. And some of these kids in here don't even know what I'm talking about. But that's okay. It's just some people from the Midwest have a certain way of saying things, a certain way of doing things. And I think that anybody that you meet's got a different perspective.
Sure, you're right, son.
A different thing, and I find if I'm ever up in the air, if I ever see something in news that I don't really know what to make of it, I don't even know how to feel about it. Maybe the media is part to blame for that. But I always find that I got a poet. I got a million poets all over the place that I can call, that I can talk to. That I can just send a posting out on Tampa Bay Poetry on Facebook, which is easily findable for everybody, for all the people that are on paying attention still. It's on Facebook, Tampa Bay Poetry.
Tampa Bay Poetry.
And it will allow you to find out where all the open mics are going on in the surrounding area. It even alerted me to the Wordplay Cafe here tonight. So it's a very, very wonderful website. And since we're doing name dropping here, I'd like to give a shout out to, oh goodness, I wish I brought my thank you.
Dennis Amadeus.
Dennis Amadeus, whose t-shirt I'm repping right now.
Okay.
You'll buy it, it's only $10. Wally B. Jennings, Liz Kali, if anybody knows who she is, you should look at her stuff. She's off the wall. Oh, goodness. Phil Scott, Daisy, who couldn't make it tonight, all the wonderful performers who've been here tonight, thank you for dropping your knowledge. Gosh, I love it. I love the venue. The tea is delicious. Anybody's out there that lives in the area, come check it out. They've been playing Bob Marley on low all day long. They even have different beats to go with it. They don't play that Bob Marley stuff like, all the mainstream stuff that everybody knows. They be playing them like them B-sides, and I like that. I'm one of them guys that I like to buy a good album, but I don't like to listen to all the stuff that everybody else listens to. I like that one track in the end where you're like, that's what's up. So all the additional poets, I got my girl Cora Moore, who's hopefully watching it right now. She's on the mend a little bit. Geez, there's so many people. Anybody that's performed or seen me perform or given me a hug or given me some love or told me I was a bad person, or any ex-girlfriend that might have cheated on me or who I might have cheated on, just nothing but love, because life is short. It's full of experiences and opportunities to learn. And I'm really, really blessed and glad that I made all those mistakes when I was young. I'm glad that
Before the internet.
Yeah, before the internet. I'm glad that those pictures never resurfaced. Thank goodness. I'm glad that I got caught cheating when I was 16. And I learned pretty quickly. It's a really, really neat thing to do. And I'm glad. And looking back, would I have done it again? Not for that look on her face, but for the life lessons, for the opportunities I've had to know that women deserve better than the best that we can give them. So for any relationships out there, you'd be very appreciative, because I always found myself when I was in relationships, just taking that poet's moment to stop and look around, smell the roses, and go, you know what? She really likes me. She really loves me. And friends come and go, and she's got my back for now. So I always try to appreciate and embrace those good moments that you have. Because you can be married forever. You can have a lifelong love, but there are going to be hard times. And I always like to say that love's the easy part. When you're married and you love someone, the love isn't all the good stuff. It's not the kissing and the romance and all the time that he brought you home flowers. That's not love, because that's the easy part. The hard part is when she's saying things to you that you know are true, but you just don't want to hear them. When she knows every little insecurity that you have, but she chooses to not make fun of it in front of your friends. All those things that she could do, that she could embarrass you, she could ruin you, she could take those embarrassing pictures and still post them on Facebook and Instagram at danO'Shea.com. But she doesn't, you know, and there have been too many times that I've just had friends that are women that just amaze me. You know, like certain poets like Dennis Amadeus' girlfriend, Tiana. Hi, Tiana. Beautiful woman. Because Dennis is a tough guy. Not that he's a roaming guy, but he's just a real fidgety person, able to keep still, and I know she does a good job. So, Tiana, kudos to you, honey. I don't know how you do it. Because some of us are just antsy. We can't stay still. We can't stay in one place. We got to go out on Saturday night, got to hang out with the boys. But sometimes it's just as good to hang home and not get arrested. And maybe even have something else nice happen. So I'd say for those in relationships, even the long-term ones, just appreciate it, be thankful. Because, you know, like, I'm single, so I'm jealous of all y'all. And I can admit it. You know, just like LeBron James, I hate the guy. I hate LeBron. I do. I feel like he ruined
But
me.
you love him. You said hate, love.
Right, but exactly. But hate and love are a very closely related thing. Now, I hate LeBron James. It doesn't mean I don't know he's probably the best basketball player in the NBA, jerk. But I'm sure he's a delightful person and a wonderful father. But he just happens to play on an all-star team. It's like the Yankees of basketball. You know, I'm a Sixers fan, so it's easy for me to be a Sixers fan. Because when they lose, does anybody say, the Sixers lost last night? I don't have to worry about that. It's like my dad's a Cleveland Browns fan. Oh, the Browns didn't win the division again. He's like, yeah, and? But if the Heat lose, you guys got to defend yourselves. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, LeBron wasn't playing well with me. I'm like, Sixers won 13 games last year. I don't think Miami lost 13 games last year. But one of Miami's losses last year came to the Philadelphia 76ers. So for me, the season was a victory. And it happened real early in the year, like January. I was like, you know what? I can stop. I don't need to pay attention to the standings. I'm good. Now my whole family, they're all Heat fans. So, you know, their season, their strains continued all the way down to the end. And sorry for the Heat fans. I'm sorry that it didn't work out. But, you know, you guys will get it next year.
It's all good.
It's all good, yeah. And like they all say, you know, it's always next year. But in closing, it's just been a wonderful experience. And I'm just, again, so glad that this spot's here because there's a lot of drunken idiocy going on around here. And it's good to know that there's a place that I can come. I can not only do some poetry, but I can have some great coffee, some great tea. And I love all of you, and thank you so much for performing, and thank you so much for hosting and having us. And it's been such a privilege to be up here. So thank you all very, very much.
All right.
Yeah.
Bill, you left your marvelous tea. Yeah. And for a small fee, I'll sell it back to you.
How much you need?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the tail end of the evening. We usually run from 8 to about 10-ish. It's past Alex's bedtime. She's going to turn into a pumpkin. Get cute. But just a little reminder, we do this every week. So feel free to check us out again. We will be here next Tuesday, and I say we in the serious form of myself and my partner Desiree. Desiree's doing her JOV thing, and she's also watching you.
Desiree.
Yeah. Desiree. You're missed. But join us next week if you can. We intend to bring more new stuff, more stuff to feel. Just continue having the kind of Wordplay Cafe meetings that we have. And if she was here, she'd do her closing piece. I don't know her closing piece, so I can't do that. And I wouldn't do that. But thank you guys for coming out and joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again at the Wordplay Cafe, where it's always life and it's most expressive, word by word. Thanks, guys. All right. Great work.
You remember, you looked at the bottom line last time.
What?
Huh?
Oh,
Yeah, I left my car.
good to see you again, T-Bone.
Thank you, good to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you in the
Oh, good for you, though. Well done.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Nick, I'm sorry. All right, Nick.
All right, nice to meet you.
All right.
Damn,
Bye, Benita.
Like I said, we do
We'll be doing it every week, so yeah, take a couple of weeks to draft.
yeah, we're
Oh, yeah, you were, that's a good one. Oh, yeah.
Well, we're having a great work. We're dealing with all the
Good work, too.
Absolutely. It's funny, if I don't have, it's like,
How much?
okay. Yeah, probably.
It's still watching. All right, man. Hey, and you can look at it later or tomorrow too. It is recorded.
What's that? Oh, he's always.
All right, go ahead and sign off one more time, man, while you're right there.
Can you see?
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, that's you.
Hey, thanks for coming to the Wordplay Cafe here at Tbones Hot Spot in beautiful sunny Sarasota, 2667 Mall Drive, Sarasota. Please join us next week. Join us whenever you have an opportunity to come through. We'd love to have you. It's always a good time. Thanks.